Welcome to the first ever Greenbank Files. Today we're going to start looking at some ledgers that we have. These ledgers were donated by Tom Marshall at some point to the museum and have been in storage, and we were recently able to find them and start looking at them after last January when we had the University of Delaware's collection SWAT team at site. So these ledgers span generally the late 20s, early 30s. The ledger we're going to look at today is from 1926, and which is a really cool time period that we talk about at Greenbank. Usually we focus on earlier, Oliver Elvin's mill, or colonial era, so this is kind of a cool era that we don't normally get to look at. So we want to get prepared to handle the ledgers. There's a couple different things that we need to do before we even pull them out of the box. And the first is wash our hands. So the reason that we wash our hands not only is to make sure that they're nice and clean, but also we're going to be using just bare hands when we handle these ledgers. Most people might be used to the white gloves you see in movies or have been in museums before and seen people handling things with white gloves. We actually tend not to use white gloves, especially when we're handling books and paper, because the cotton or the different materials that those white gloves are made out of can catch on paper and cause rips and tears and things like that. We could be using nitrile gloves, the purple gloves, to handle these things, especially if we were worried if these ledgers were made out of vellum or animal skin paper. But these are from 1926, and we know that they are made out of modern, wood paper. And because there is a shortage right now in gloves, it is actually better for us to just wash our hands and make sure they're nice and clean and all the oils are off of our skin, and we are ready to handle the ledgers. So what are we looking at? As I said before, we're looking at a ledger from 1926. This was donated by Tom Marshall at some point to Greenbank Mill. And so now we're taking a look at a deeper dive into what went on in the 1920s at our site. We can tell that it is from 1926 because, as we'll see later, the date 1926 is written on the top of every page. And we know it's from Greenbank Mill because on the first page we see property of Greenbank Valley Milling Company, Greenbank, Delaware. So we have a pretty good indication that this is from exactly where we sit, and we know that this is a good account of how things operated on site in 1926. As we look through the ledgers, they are set up so that all the profits are on the left-hand pages and all the expenses are on the right-hand pages. So any money coming into this mill would have been logged on the left-hand side, and any money going out for things like merchandise or bills for rent, wages, things like that are all logged on the expenses side on the right-hand side. And let's dive on in. As you can see, we are in 1926 because it's indicated on the top corner. I've opened up to an interesting section. This is from August 24th to about August 26th of 1926. We can see while most people are buying smaller amounts of flour to $65 or $12-ish, one person has bought $113.25 worth of flour. A DL name stock, perhaps, is the name there, but they've bought a lot of flour. Moving to August 25th, we see 15 purchases and one expense charge, along with the balance and till. A closer look shows us some familiar sounding names like Winfield Speakman and Poole. expense charge seems to have been for a phone line for 80 cents. Perhaps someone used the mill's phone and were charged for the service. Perhaps it was the mill using the phone, but it seems to have been money that the mill gained. And at the end of the day, we can see that the mill made $61.39 plus the 80 cents plus $48.02 that was in the till, for a total of $110.21 for the day. That added to the $2,397.25 balance gives the mill $2,507.46 for the day of August 25th. Also, as we look through the ledger, we can notice that all horizontal lines are penned by hand, which is pretty cool. On August 25th, on the expense side, we see there's a lot going on, which isn't always typical on each day, but sometimes. We have a merchandise exchange charge, a truck repair charge, and a large merchandise purchase of what seems to be feed. Now, to get an idea of some other kinds of expenses that the mill might have seen throughout the year as we were looking through, some to highlight, I wanted to go to September 4th. Here we see lots of charges for merchandise, truck insurance, sacks, gas and oil, and wages. What I think is coolest is that the gas and oil cost was only $1.60 and wages was $76. Moving to the end of the year, on December 24th, we see lots of wages paid. One was at the normal $75 rate, but one person at $1,200 and another at $550. Christmas bonuses, perhaps, but all we know is that the D. Flynn seemed to have made out in that deal. We continue to wrap up the year. On December 31st, we see freight charges and wages for extra help by John, maybe Dime or Prime, for $111. December seemed to be busy and, well, at least expensive for the mill in comparison to some of the other months. Now, there is still so much more to explore in these ledgers. This one in particular, we've only scratched the surface and highlighted a couple random pages that we found. But we hope that you guys enjoyed this short little look into our collections and how we look at them, and some little discussed parts of Greenbank history that we hope to bring more to you guys soon.